Hey gang, it's been a while since we've touched the Kirby series, so we are going to take a dive into the little adorable pink puffball, or in this case, rainbow-colored puffball, second newest adventure, Kirby Triple Deluxe. Now, you get hyper...
What's the flimsy excuse to have Kirby go on a genocidal rampage this time?
Someone ordered at McDonald's and said, "Supersize me." That's all the excuse he needs.
So, fun fact: if you don't have a 100% save file on your cart, Kirby's pink. But since I do, he's hypernova there. So.
Okay, I don't remember him being multicolored at the start of the game.
Also, I'm not showing the bottom screen because there's literally nothing important down there. So, yeah.
What does the bottom screen do?
It shows you your lives, your star counter. Your stars are basically coins. Also, when you pass by Bandana D, you can get, like, little temporary health upgrades. Well, not health upgrades, like, storable health upgrades. And you get better ones if you've Street Passed people, because Street Pass, they had to shoehorn in Street Pass functionality.
Friends.
So there's, like, a big star, and there'll be, like, a cherry in there, and if you tap it, you'll get a little bit of extra health. So it's not interesting or important enough for me to need to get a really weird editing format for it. So, yeah. And besides, the game's really pretty anyway. Like, this is one of the best looking 3DS games that came out during the first half of... Actually, I think technically Kirby Triple Deluxe is considered second half of the 3DS's lifespan. Well, if you count 2011 to 2017, it's like right smack dab in the middle. But, you know, that aside, it's gorgeous. So
you know what bothers me? When games made for a screen of a specific size and shape still letterbox themselves for cutscenes. Why would you do that? You know the size and shape of the screen. Just
more cinematic feel.
You're not going to get a cinematic feel on a handheld. Just don't try. It doesn't happen.
3D.
Hey, look at this. This is like Citizen Kane. Move over, man. Kirby Triple Deluxe opening cutscene is true high art.
Kirby, why are you climbing? You can fly.
Fucking Orson Welles climbing a beanstalk. Well, that'd be a very different movie.
Oh no! Okay, so actually it's very easy to miss this guy's name because, like, they mention it once in a pause screen, like, in the first boss. So this guy's Taranza, and he's kidnapping King Dedede because he thinks King Dedede's the hero of the lower world. So, yeah. Like, I didn't...
Stop.
So, why is King Dedede at the top of the beanstalk?
The beanstalk took his castle and Kirby's house.
Oh, okay.
Also, I love that when King Dedede's stolen, his house has sad eyes. It's fantastic.
I mean, I'm all up for playing around with classic fairy tale stuff. That's like one of the best parts of The Witcher. But I like it to make sense, and the beanstalk is just kind of a random thing here.
Well, there is a reason. It's shoehorned. It's not really supposed to be made sense. Basically, oh man, spoilers. The people who have been attacked by the villain of the game sent down the Dreamstalk. That's what it's called. To bring up the hero of the lower world to save them. And it brought up both Kirby and Dedede for some reason. And the bad guys think it's Dedede that's the actual hero, and Kirby's just trying to save him. So
meanwhile, Link, who was supposed to be brought up, is just kind of asleep in his cot and misses the whole adventure.
Well, you see, Kirby is the hero. Dedede is the self-proclaimed hero.
Yeah.
And the beanstalk doesn't make any sort of...
distinction.
Oh man, I can smell the 3DS programming.
By the way, hope you guys like Return to Dreamland.
Oh yeah, it's actually really kind of weird in that this is basically just Return to Dreamland's engine, but it looks better on a system with less hardware capabilities, which is weird. Like, I honestly think that this is a more vibrant and detailed game than Return to Dreamland is. And obviously, if you've only played Planet Robobot, this is going to look very similar. Planet Robobot and Triple Deluxe are essentially the same game, only one has Hypernova and one has robots. So,
and I prefer the robots, so...
slightly controversial statement. Both games are fantastic, so, you know.
Oh yeah, I'm not denying that. Just saying.
Both games are fantastic. I very, very slightly prefer Triple Deluxe. Like, when people ask me, like, what are your favorite Kirby games, Ted? I'll generally say 64 Triple Deluxe and Nightmare in Dreamland. I mostly just say that because their Triple Deluxe and Robobot are so similar that it would feel kind of redundant to have both of them on, like, a top 3 list. It'd be kind of like saying, "Oh, my favorite Sonic games are
Sonic 3
Sonic
and Sonic
Colors."
and Knuckles.
Yeah, Sonic Colors, Sonic 3, and Sonic and Knuckles. It's like, okay, I mean, I guess that's technically true, but it's a little bit redundant. So, yeah. So yeah, the game plays in terms of controls nearly identically to Return to Dreamland. Same control method, same button inputs, same. Most of the powers, I think, have the same abilities. There's some minor changes, obviously. So this is probably the most by the numbers Kirby game we had gotten in quite a while.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is probably the new Super Mario Brothers equivalent for Kirby, really.
Only this
well,
is
except Kirby never
interesting.
stopped being a 2D series and never started being a 3D one.
Yeah, that GameCube prototype of a Kirby 3D game still makes me sad whenever I see it because we never got that.
Why do you think that they're so against, for lack of a better word, making a true 3D?
It
Kirby
might
adventure?
be the floating flying mechanic that's really getting in the way, because I can see that being complicated to utilize in a 3D platformer.
But they do have that little 3D minigame in Planet Robot. It controls okay. It's just, it would probably end up having to be a different type of game. Like, I think it would need to be kind of like how Mario 64 doesn't really play like a 2D Mario game. I think a 3D Kirby would have to play differently than a 2D Kirby in terms of structure. And on top of that, like, we've kind of passed the point where people expect every franchise to make the jump to 3D.
Yeah.
Like, if you've made it through the N64 and the GameCube era without going full 3D, like, people
you don't
are
really
beyond
need to, yeah.
needing it, you know? Like, I don't think anybody really needs...
Well, that was the era when 3D gaming was not just a matter of it was a matter of evolution. You were expected to become something more, and at that point in time, people basically defined something more as being able to go in every direction at once. Right now, we take that about as much for granted as side-scrollers were taken for granted at the time. So nobody's really like that's kind of the reason the fad is not so much 3D games anymore, but open world games, which I have a feeling people are going to be getting sick of really fast. But it's because of the sense of freedom was seen as the evolution of gaming.
Yeah.
By the way, fuck that wrecking ball.
Why? Oh, you didn't know?
Fell for its trap the first playthrough.
It smashed you, didn't
You
it?
have to fully wind it back. If you don't, then you'll knock the pillar down, but it won't break it.
And then you miss
And
the...
it blocks the keychain.
Just wait till you get to the part of the game where the game wants you to only knock it down and not break it so that you can use a different wrecking ball.
This guy fucks me up. I love this boss, if only because of this right here. Like the cardboard cutout that pops out of the floor, because he knows for a fact that you're working on instinct.
You know what? That's actually fairly clever in a subtle way, because if you have your 3D on, you're gonna see that easier.
Yeah, that
Well, I think it's pretty easy to see right now.
Well, yeah, I know, but it's easier to see when it's easier to see with your eyes that is a flat object in an instant, and know that you're not supposed to fire.
it's Super Mario
New Super Kirby Land.
New Super Kirby Pirates
Super
Curse.
Mario 3D Land pulled the same thing, but I never got tricked by the fake cutouts in 3D Land. Like, never, not once. So
it's more it's something that's supposed to trip you up, and different players are not going to be tripped up by it. It depends on how many video games you play, really, and how used to your brain, how much your brain is used to jumping across that depth perception gap on its own, because different gamers are going to have a problem with that, or less of a problem with that. I have no problem with it.
You got useless collectibles.
yeah, the keychains don't do anything.
Can you explain keychains to me?
They don't do anything.
Like
They are there
they
for
don't do anything.
collectibles. They are all, well, okay. There's like two that are new, but 99% of them are old sprites from the old Kirby games, and you collect them to have collectibles. Pretty much. There's okay. So the annoying thing about keychains, and why I'm only ever going to do one true 100% file for this game, is
They're randomly generated.
except for the rare ones. The rare ones, there's one rare keychain in every level, and it always has a specific sprite attached to it. So if you're
all the silver base ones are randomly generated, so
yeah,
good luck getting that last couple you need.
So it's kind of like stamps in a Wii game.
Yeah,
or trophies in Smash.
Yeah, no, trophies in Smash is the best comparison. Planet Robobot has a similar mechanic with the stickers, but thankfully the change that they made in Planet Robobot, which I appreciate, is that in Planet Robobot, if you're missing a rare sticker, the game will tell you, oh, look in stage 4-3 for this sticker. In Triple Deluxe, you kind of have to just find it on your own, which is a little bit annoying, but thankfully...
Gimmicky gyro controls.
The gyro controls are probably my least favorite part of the game, but they're not that big of a deal. Basically,
no, it's mostly just tilting left or right.
Yeah, it's just.
I like how it looks logical when the screen is stationary, like we're watching it now. But when you're actually using it, you're basically tilting the screen to the side to tilt an object on the screen to the side. So visually, from where you're playing, unless you tilt along with it, it looks like the bowl has turned more or less on its side to pour diagonally toward itself.
If you're playing in 3D, which I know none of you guys here do, but if you are, it makes the 3D screw up like nothing else. And the 3D in this game actually is probably the best looking 3D that I've seen on the 3DS. And
I think bright and colorful games get the most benefit from that.
But the best thing about it is, except for a few rare instances, and that's mostly in Hypernova mode, it almost never cuts the frame rate. So the game is running, it'll always be rock solid 60 in 2D mode, and it's usually a rock solid 60 on 3D mode.
That's having to program a 2D game versus having to program a 3D game.
Yeah.
Well, that and Kirby games tend to be developed by people who actually know what the hell they're doing with the hardware, and that goes for every Kirby game and every system they've been developed.
Yeah, but that's actually one annoying thing about Robobot, is that Robobot tends to have frame drops even when you are in 2D mode, which is a slight disappointment. They're not
over ambition.
I think it's more just the fact that they try to do more without updating the engine at all, because it's literally the same exact graphics.
Does it have that problem on the new 3DS as well?
I don't think it does. I think it still does.
I don't recall having any real problems.
It's very minor. I don't think the thing about the new 3DS is I think you have to program in new 3DS for support for the game to take advantage of the extra hardware.
So that would be strange, because the PS4 Pro, which is my console game of frame of reference for that kind of thing, some games just perform better on it, like they would if you were running it on a PC with slightly better hardware. Like Final Fantasy 15, for example, just plays a little bit smoother on a Pro. It's not a PS4 Pro game, but it takes advantage a little bit.
I've also heard that some games on PS4 Pro actually run worse, though.
Because they weren't optimized.
Some of the earlier games probably weren't made with the existence of the PS4 Pro in mind. So
no.
they would be more hard. They would be more hard designed for specific hardware, and yeah.
Yeah, it's just strange. Okay,
Who is this bearded fellow?
I don't know. I don't know why I have
Walter White.
I don't know why I have any street passes on my recording 3DS, because I never take it out of my house. So, and when I do,
someone passed by your house on the street, obviously.
So random beard guy knows where you live.
Also, I love that I was whipping Mr. Frosty while he was smacking his ass. So that was fun.
Oh yeah, Kirby hurt me more.
There's a fantastic GIF on that I found, which is basically just that. So because I've played this game a lot. This was probably at least my 5th playthrough. I was actually trying to use some of the fancier moves for the copy powers just to shake things up, but that honestly results in me doing worse in some instances. Yeah. So I'm gonna just say it right now. This is not my best playthrough.
Excuses.
Not my best play. Obviously, the game's not hard.
Ed prepares a most eloquent dance and trips on a speck of dust.
Yeah. No, Kirby seems to be doing pretty decent dance there.
Yeah, that's Kirby, not you.
Aw.
But who's controlling Kirby?
that's just the real
We are the
question.
true masters.
That's just the real question that we need to ask ourselves.
Actually, it would have been fine if this meta as shit if like the final boss of a Kirby game activates the 3DS camera and it's just you, and Kirby's just smacking the hell out of you.
Have you gotten to the end of Bravely Default or Bravely Second, Sean?
No.
Okay, then I'll say no more.
I think you said enough.